Hello. I'm here to talk about something that some of you might think about. If you're watching this, you might think about it. If you're not watching it, well, it doesn't matter, does it? I'm talking about secret identities and how do they get away with it? Specifically, let's talk about the Batman, Bruce Wayne. You know who he is. I know he's the Batman. You know he's the Batman. How does he do it? Right? How does he get away with covering half of his face, doing what he does, and nobody recognizes him? That's crazy. So there are several factors to think about uh, that will make you realize, okay, that's how he gets away with it. First off, think about Gotham City. It's a huge place. It's been compared to New York City. It's been compared to Chicago. New York, it's roughly 304 square miles. Uh, Chicago's approximately 234 square miles. Gotham City, through my nerd research, I've discovered is roughly 330 square miles. So, Gotham City, big place. You also have to consider the population. So, through some advanced nerdery, I have determined that approximately 10 million people live in Gotham City. That's a lot of people. Think about it. Think about how many of those people do you know? How many of those people do you interact with on a daily basis? For instance, 10 million people, if you were to meet 1,000 Gothamites a day and were able to recognize them just through a brief interaction, it would still take you a little more than 27 years to meet everybody in Gotham City. So, again, think about meeting all those people and you think, well, okay, those are strangers. Now, Bruce Wayne, he's a public figure. He's a billionaire, he's a philanthropist, he's a playboy. There are plenty of pictures and videos of him out there on the web, in papers. The equivalent of TMZ, they're out there in Gotham City getting pictures of Bruce, taking out these starlets and these actresses and these supermodels, to events, to restaurants. So you see pictures of Bruce. And again, how does he get away with it? Well, think about it. If you see him on the street, I mean, how often have you been this close to Bruce Wayne, do you think? And when you see him on the street, does he look the same as he did at that black tie event? Think about how many times you've been somewhere out in your ordinary life and you see someone famous. Maybe you have a favorite actor or sports personality or politician, whatever the case might be. Maybe you even have a tattoo of that person on your body, right? I don't have any, but maybe you do. Think about it. They're not going to look exactly the same as they did on the big screen or at that political event or at that sporting event. They look different. They're going to look different. So that's something else you have to think about. You have to think about the circumstances in which you see these people. Okay? So if you're an average Gothamite and you run into the Batman, think about what's going on. Something bad is probably happening. If you're lucky, you're an observer and you're not a victim. Now, think about in your own life, any time that you've experienced something traumatic. Were you in an accident? Maybe you observed an accident or a violent incident. And think about your recollection versus somebody else's recollection. Maybe they were standing right next to you. Did they see the exact same thing you did? Do they remember what you did? Can they identify the person or persons involved? So again, you're an average Gothamite. If you're lucky, you're observing a violent crime or incident. I say lucky. And the Batman comes by, he saves the day. Again, he's in and he's out. He's got half his face covered. Are you going to recognize him? Think about a famous person that you know. If they ran across the street, say 50 yards from you, and they just ran across the street, would you recognize them? Even if they weren't wearing something that covered half of their face? So again, you have to think about the circumstance of when you encounter the Batman. And that's assuming you're a law-abiding Gothamite. If you're not a law-abiding Gothamite, well, that's a different story, and it's not going to end well for you. So, the circumstance. That's how he does it. Think about the size of the city. Think about the people involved, all those millions of people, and the chance that you're going to recognize him, even with half his face covered, is very, very slight. And that's how he gets away with it, really, if you think about it. Now, I know we're talking about Bruce, we're talking about the Batman, Some of you have to be thinking, well, wait, what about Robin? Come on, he just wears that stupid little eye mask, right? How does he get away with it? So think about this. Dick Grayson. Who the hell is he? What, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, he was a famous acrobat, right? So there's that. But again, otherwise, think about the size of the city, Gotham City. Think about the people involved. And Dick Grayson, for all intents and purposes, he's a no one, right? So he's going to be one of those 1 in 10 million people. So that's how he gets away with it, right? Wearing that stupid little eye mask. All the other factors are involved. There's the trauma involved. Maybe you're an observer. Maybe you're a villain. Whatever the case might be. That's how he gets away with it. So now in a different city, let's think about Clark Kent. Think about Superman. He doesn't even wear a mask, right? He has that little S curl that everybody recognizes him for. How does he get away with it? Really, it's the same overall factors. Metropolis is the same size or larger than Gotham City, so it's going to have a population that's commensurate. It's going to probably be more people. And similar to Dick Grayson, Clark Kent, for the most part, he's a nobody. He also is going to be another one of those 1 in 10 million or more individuals. So there's all those factors. Again, think about the circumstance. If you're lucky, you're a law-abiding citizen, you're observing something. And if you're not, it's not going to end well for you. And again, another thing in Superman's case, the thing to consider is he is sometimes literally traveling so fast that you cannot see him. So that is how he gets away with it. So I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to my, not quite rant, but listen to my explanation about secret identities and, how do they get away with it? How do they get away with it? I think I've explained how. So until next time, stay nerdy out there.